January 24th, 1961. The bomb is falling. Somewhere above the dark fields of North Carolina, a B-52 Stratofortress is tearing itself apart in midair. Metal screams. Fuel ignites. The night explodes into fire. Inside the chaos, a 24-megaton hydrogen bomb, more than 250 times the power of Hiroshima, slips free from the belly of the aircraft. It falls silently, then gravity takes over. Below, farmhouses sleep. Tobacco fields vanish into black. No sirens, no warning, just cold January air and a weapon built to erase cities. 700 feet up, a parachute deploys, drifting like a monstrous lantern. Inside, the bomb begins its arming sequence. Step 1, complete. Step 2, complete. Step 3, complete. 5 of 6 safeguards engage. The final switch, a tiny, low-voltage device no bigger than your hand, fails. If it flips, the eastern seaboard is ash. Millions die. Fallout blankets Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York. It doesn't. The bomb lands in a muddy field near Goldsboro, and America never knows how close it came to annihilation. So how did a routine Cold War flight nearly trigger nuclear apocalypse on U.S. soil? In 1961, the Cold War wasn't politics. It was a loaded gun pointed at the world. The United States and the Soviet Union stockpiled weapons capable of ending civilization many times over. Radar was unreliable, missiles were slow. Fear filled the gaps, so America kept its bombers airborne. Under Operation Chrome Dome, B-52 Stratofortress crews flew 24/7 patrols, armed with live thermonuclear weapons, circling near Soviet airspace, ready to strike within minutes. Deterrence by proximity, peace through constant readiness. But readiness meant risk. The B-52 was massive, 8 engines, enormous wingspan, built to carry apocalyptic payloads. It was also a machine, and machines fail. On January 23, 1961, a B-52G lifted off from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina. Routine patrol, mid-air refueling, standard mission, 8 crew members on board. Beneath them, 2 Mark 39 thermonuclear bombs, 24 megatons each. They trusted the safeguards, the redundancies, the system. They were about to test all of it, and the sky was about to come apart. Hours into the flight, something small goes wrong. A fuel leak. At first, just a warning light. Then the gauges drop. Thousands of pounds of fuel vanish every minute. The right wing grows heavy. The aircraft tilts. The pilots fight it. Call ground control. Attempt refueling. The leak worsens. Fuel streams into the freezing night. Alarms erupt. The airframe shudders. Then, structural failure. At 9,000 feet over rural North Carolina, the B-52 Stratofortress tears apart. Crew members are thrown into darkness. As the bomber disintegrates, 2 nuclear bombs drop from the bay, exactly as if released in war. The first deploys its parachute, which means it believes the mission is real, which means it begins to arm. And below, families sleep, unaware that the Cold War has just fallen from the sky. The first bomb descends exactly as designed. Parachute deployed, descent stable. Inside the Mark 39, the arming sequence begins. In war, this would be intentional. Release confirmed. Systems activate. Now, ripped from a breaking aircraft, the bomb doesn't know the difference. It believes the mission is real. Safeguards begin to fall. Timers advance. Circuits close. Firing signals race through the core. Step by step, it arms itself. The final barrier is a low-voltage ready safe switch. A small, simple component, the last line of defense. It stays on safe. Later, investigators would reveal the truth. 5 of 6 safety mechanisms had engaged. For all practical purposes, the bomb was armed. If that final switch had flipped, Goldsboro would have vanished in an instant. Firestorms across the Carolinas, fallout drifting toward Washington, New York, beyond, millions dead, stopped by a single switch that failed to complete a circuit. And there was still a second bomb. The second bomb doesn't descend gently. It plummets. No parachute. No graceful drift through the night sky. Just 10,000 pounds of thermonuclear steel tearing toward the Earth at terminal velocity. It slams into a muddy field near Faro, North Carolina, burying itself deep beneath layers of soil. The impact is catastrophic. The casing ruptures. Conventional explosives scatter. Parts of the arming system shatter on impact. For a moment, no one knows if it will detonate. Rescue teams race toward the crash site in darkness. Headlights cutting through farmland. Military units lock down the area. Roads close. Farmers are ordered away from their own property. They find the first bomb dangling from a tree, parachute tangled in branches. The second is missing. It takes days to locate it. Excavation crews dig through freezing mud. They recover fragments. Part of the uranium core sinks deeper, beyond reach. It's still there, buried beneath North Carolina soil, under land the government quietly purchased and sealed. A silent remnant of a falling apocalypse. But the real shock comes later, when investigators discover how close the first bomb came to finishing its job. In the weeks after the crash, engineers at Sandia National Laboratories rebuilt the nightmare. They pulled apart the wreckage, traced the wiring, replayed the sequence. What they found was chilling. The parachute deployed exactly as designed. The arming system activated. High voltage batteries fired. The detonation sequence advanced step by step. The bomb did everything it was built to do, except one. The final safeguard was a low-voltage ready safe switch. It remained on safe because one electrical pathway never closed. That was it. Years later, former Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara admitted the truth. America had come far closer to accidental nuclear detonation than anyone realized. This wasn't flawless engineering, it was luck. If that switch had flipped, a 24-megaton explosion would have torn a crater into North Carolina. Infrastructure across the East Coast collapses. Fallout reaches major cities within hours. And the Soviet Union, detecting a nuclear blast on U.S. soil, could have mistaken it for the first strike of World War III. Retaliation follows, all because a bomber leaped fool over North Carolina. The public never heard the full story. In 1961, newspapers reported a crash. 5 crew members lost. A tragic accident. Nothing more. The words "almost detonated" never appeared. The Cold War demanded confidence. Admitting that a hydrogen bomb nearly exploded on American soil would have shattered it. So the truth was sealed. Reports classified. Technical findings buried. The fields near Goldsboro returned to stillness. For decades, even members of Congress didn't know how close it had come. Then, in the 2010s, declassified documents revealed the reality. 5 of 6 safety mechanisms had armed. Goldsboro was not unique. The military has a term for nuclear weapon accidents: broken arrow. In 1958, a bomb was dropped near Savannah, Georgia, never recovered. In 1966, hydrogen bombs fell over Spain after a mid-air collision. In 1968, a B-52 crashed in Greenland, scattering radioactive debris across Arctic ice. No enemy, no war, just failure. The Cold War kept bombers in the sky around the clock. Deterrence required readiness. Readiness meant risk. Goldsboro wasn't a fluke. It was a warning. Today, if you drive through Wayne County, North Carolina, you'd see nothing unusual. Endless farmland, quiet roads, blue skies stretching over fields that look like anywhere else in America. No crater, no monument marking how close this land came to vanishing. Just a small historical marker near the B-52 crash site, a quiet reminder of what almost happened. Beneath the soil, part of the hydrogen bomb remains, sealed and forgotten. It doesn't tick, it doesn't glow, it simply exists. History carried on that day, not because the system was flawless, but because one tiny switch failed. Civilization survived, almost unnoticed. Morning came, farmers walked their fields, children went to school. America carried on, oblivious to how close the world had been to disaster. If stories like this fascinate you, the moments where history nearly rewrote itself, subscribe and turn on notifications, because sometimes the most terrifying events aren't the ones that happened, but the ones that almost did. Could one small switch really decide humanity's fate? Let us know in the comments. Before you go, tap the video on your screen to discover the story behind the scientist who predicted his own disappearance.